So I'm going to start off just by talking about the assistant first, because it's kind of our way of getting a starting point, and particularly the referencing feature in the assistant is pretty cool. I used it for this low end here, so kind of you can just hear it's kind of a psytrance sort of influenced techno track. So the kick and bass is really important. You can hear it. So the main thing I wanted to be really good was the kick and bass at first. You got that kick drum and some pretty booming bass. And the thing is with finding references for the assistant, and maybe actually I'll get to that in a second. So I'll talk about why this kick is separate here, and I'll just turn on the original kick and it'll sound like this. Cool. So basically what I did, and I saved this all as a preset ahead of time just in case I screw things up, but there's this little assistant icon, and basically what normally, and you know what, let's just, okay, so normally it will look like this at first. Play audio to get started, and so I play it, it's gonna listen. You can already hear it making some changes. And look at what we have here. Okay, so it's detected that this is drums, but I kind of want it to match, you know, my own sort of thing I'm going for. And since it's like a psytrance sort of influence thing, what I did is, and this is like my preferred way to use our referencing feature in case y'all are wondering like what the best use of it is. I won't say it's the best use. You can really throw anything in there, but this is how I personally like to use it, which is I'll just take a part of a track I like, which has the sound that I want. In this case, it's a tune by Liquid Soul, and Liquid Soul is like a massive psytrance producer, and I love how his kick and bass sounds. So I took like a clip. It's only 1 second. So basically what I did is you can click this little plus button. I have it saved as a clip, and I have this handy dandy folder that's full of things that I've been using, which I'll show you more of later. And you can select it. I already have it here, so I'm just gonna click it. And if I have 0 tone match, so we have these intent driven controls where you know, you have tone match, which is going to use this kind of, if you're familiar with tonal balance control, that's kind of what this thing is. But in tonal balance control, you can't match things directly. You can in Neutron. And then we have some controls here that you can mess with, which I'll talk about in a second. But first, I just want to kind of show you what it sounds like when I, you know, make it sound like Liquid Soul as much as I can. So this is at 0%. It's already decent, but I want it to really match to it. You can kind of hear how it's sort of tamed the low end a little bit and made it a lot clearer. So once again, at 0, at 100, I think I want to hone it in around like 83 or so. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to kind of just, oh, that's an emoji keyboard. I'm going to kind of just screw around with these controls. So we have a width control. It's kick and bass. I don't want it too wide, but I actually end up usually controlling that outside Neutron on the individual layers. So I'm fine on width right now. We have distort, which has trash mode, which I'll talk a little bit about later because that's something I'm really excited we added in Neutron 4 is some things from Trash 2. Which is a older iZotope plugin that everyone should know and love. It's a very popular one, and we threw some DSP in there. I'll show that in a little bit. And then there's this new punch compressor technology that we came up with for this release that I'll talk a little bit more in depth with later. But right now, I just want to, you know, play around, find a starting point, and then I can get on with the rest of my mix. But it's nice that we can kind of personalize what the assistant came up with. So basically with the punch compressor, up means expansion, down means compression. It's kind of where I want it.